Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to do some long division to divide polynomials with quadratic divisors. Alright, here it is. Hey guys, so in the last one I did some polynomial division where we had linear divisors. But as you can see, in this one here, we have a quadratic divisor. So it works exactly the same way. There's just more operations you have to do. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing you do, just like the linear divisor, is you take your x squared here, and the leading term of the divisor, and you think about how many times that would go in to the x to the fourth. So what would you multiply x squared by to get x to the fourth? And that would be x squared. All right. And then you take that x squared and then you go ahead and multiply it through the three terms of your divisor. So x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times negative 2x is going to be minus 2x to the third. And then x squared times a negative 3 is going to be a negative 3x squared. And then we go ahead and subtract this from the dividend, the polynomial. And so x to the fourth minus itself is 0. And then 4x to the third minus negative 2x to the third is going to be 4x to the third plus 2x to the third, and that's going to be 6x to the third. And then we have a negative 24x squared minus a negative 3x squared. So that's the same thing as saying negative 24x squared plus 3x squared, which is going to be a negative 21x squared. And then we bring down the positive 8x, and then we just repeat this process. So we take our leading term, the x squared of the divisor, and now we're gonna see what would we multiply x squared by to get positive 6x to the third, and that's gonna be 6x, positive 6x. All right, and then we multiply this through, so 6x times the x squared will give us a 6x to the third. 6x times a negative 2x would be a negative 12x squared. And then finally, 6x times negative 3 is going to be negative 18x. And then we go ahead and subtract. So 6x to the third minus itself is 0. Negative 21x squared minus negative 12x squared, that's negative 21x squared plus 12x, so that's going to be a negative, 12x squared, so that's going to be a negative 9x squared. And then we have an 8x minus a negative 18x, so that's going to be 8x plus 18x. So that's going to be positive 26x. And then we bring down the 20, the positive 20. And then we repeat this one last time. So take our leading term. What would you multiply x squared by to get a negative 9x squared? Well, that would just be a minus 9, negative 9. And then we multiply it through. So negative 9 times x squared is negative 9x squared. Negative 9 times a negative 2x here is going to be a positive 18x. All right. And then negative 9 times a negative 3 is a positive 27. And then we go ahead and subtract. Negative 9x squared minus itself is 0. Positive 26x minus a positive 18x is going to be a positive 8x. And then we have 20 minus 27 which is -7. Now this here, since x squared does not go into 8x, this here is your remainder. So if you remember from the last one, what we're going to do is we're going to add this remainder over the divisor. All right. So this here is what you would multiply this trinomial here in order to get this polynomial. All right, we'll do one more. So same process here. We're going to take our leading term of the divisor, the 2x squared. What would you multiply 2x squared by to get 6x to the 4th? That would be a 3x squared. Right, because 2 times 3 is 6, and x squared times x squared gives us the x to the 4th. And now we multiply that through. So the 3x squared times the 2x squared gives us the 6x to the 4th. 3x squared times a positive 3x is going to be a positive 9x to the 3rd. All right, and then 3x squared times a positive 4 is going to be a positive 12x squared. All right, then we'll subtract that off from the dividend. 6x to the 4th minus itself is 0. Negative 9x to the 3rd minus a positive 9x to the 3rd is going to be a negative 18x to the 3rd. And then negative x squared minus a positive 12x squared, that's going to be a negative 13x squared. And then we'll bring down our negative 20x. And now we'll take our leading term, and what would we multiply 2x squared by to get a negative 18x to the 3rd? And that's going to be a negative 9x. Okay, 2 times negative 9 gives us the negative 18. X squared times x gives us the x to the 3rd. And now we multiply this through. Negative 9x times positive 3x is going to be a negative 27x squared. All right, and then we have negative 9x times a positive 4, which is going to be a negative 36x. And then we will subtract this off. Negative 18x to the 3rd minus itself is 0. Negative 13x squared minus negative 27x squared. That's the same as saying negative 13x squared plus 27x squared. So that's going to give us a positive 14x squared. And then negative 20x minus negative 36x, that's negative 20x plus 36x. So that's going to be a positive 16x. Bring down the plus 21. And then we're going to run this one more time. So what do we multiply 2x squared by to get 14x squared? Well, that's just going to be 7, positive 7. Multiply it through. 7 times positive 3x is just going to be a plus 21x. And then 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract it off. That's 0. Positive 16x minus a 21x, that's going to be negative 5x. And then 21 minus 28, which is negative 7. So this here is your remainder. So we're going to add the negative 5x minus 7 divided by the divisor. All right. And with that said, guys, it's been demonstrated.